Welcome back, everyone. DJ Ginter here from theskinman.com. And we're moving along with our reskin of Name That Pick for iOS. And as you can see, I already have Xcode open with the actual app open. I highly suggest before we get into this lesson that you go back to the overview and you do a test of the app as it came, just to make sure everything works, because we're going to get into now replacing some of the graphic elements in the game, and if you don't test it first to see if it works and you start swapping files out, you're going to really be pulling your hair out if you actually then go in and then open it up and it doesn't work. You don't know if it's something you did or something that happened when you downloaded it, or it's a setting in Xcode that you have that's unique from the version that I'm using. There's all kinds of things that could happen that your app wouldn't work, so it's best to just rule that out from the beginning. So anyway, everything works here. The build succeeded. I could go back in here, but if you go back to the first lesson, you can do it perfectly well as your own. Test it out, make sure everything works perfectly, and then we can get into this next step. So with that being said, here is the actual source file. When you unpack it, you should have an app named similar to this, or a package named similar to this. And inside here in this folder, these are the actual folders that are inside of the game itself. So the one we're concerned with here is the main folder, Name That Pick. And if we go into resources and images, okay, these are the actual game elements. I'm going to get into this in a different lesson because this is a little bit in depth, but this is the folder where you put your puzzle pictures in a PNG format. So I'll tell you exactly how to do that. I'll probably do it in the next lesson, but for now, just know that in this images folder, the images they're referring to are these that are associated with the actual puzzles. And then sounds, these are all the sounds here, and here I'll play one just so you could hear. You could change any of these files out. Just make sure that you name them the same. So if you don't, it won't actually use it. So you have to replace the sound element with a sound that's your own, named in the same exact format. So if you had a different sound here for this particular activity, you could name it bounce.caf, and it would automatically update inside of Xcode and pull from this location. So that's that. So let's go back. Images, assets. Okay, so these are all the graphic files. So right here is your icons for it. And again, you have to name them when you replace these with the appropriate name. So icon-40, you would have to rename, put yours in here and just replace it. What I usually do is I'll make a separate folder and put all mine in here and have them all named, and then I'll just pull the whole folder in here, and it'll ask if I want to replace all, and I'll say yes. And once you do, this will update the icon inside your particular app. Assets, these are all the buttons now, and other associated game things, game graphics. So if you open any one of these folders, there's going to be some graphic elements in here. Some of them, like this, are just like outlines that go around a button or something. To be honest with you, I'm not going to make you change all of these. So I mean, you could go through perfectly well and go through and change all of these particular elements inside the game and make it totally your own. But it's going to cost you extra money. So like in this back arrow here, I'm not going to make you replace it. The thing I'm concerned with from a person licensing the code out is, let's see here if I can find one. Okay, so this image here, I would say you'd have to replace, because this is something that's indicative of my particular app. And you're going to have three different folders with three different color versions of the same graphic. So like here, image set, there it is, and then you'll have different color version, and another one. And that goes back to the actual, if you go through the overview again, you could change the color theme for the game. So when you select it, it'll bring one of these different colored versions up. That's all that is. So yeah, anything like this, name that pick. Obviously, you want to put your own title of your app in here. I'm not worried about the choose difficulty. Don't worry about that. But anything that says name that pick or is an image that is associated with my particular app, you would want to replace it. Like, I'm not even concerned about this illustration here. So you can keep this one. This is the challenge a friend image that pulls up on the actual front screen of the app. And you would click this to actually challenge somebody through Facebook. So anyway, what I suggest is when you're talking to your graphic designer, you send them the exact folders that contain the images. So inside the folder, there'll be a contents file and some associated graphic files in here. So I would say to him, don't change anything with the contents file, but when you replace a graphic in here, replace it with the one for my game, and just title it the same, and then when you get the graphics back, you could just pull the folders in here and drop it, and it'll say, do you want to replace the folders that are in this particular assets folder. Like, so you would have your stuff and you would pull it into this assets folder here, and it would replace all these files, and it would still have the contents in there, and it would make things so much easier for you to do it that way. So assets is the other, or the one folder where you have to go through and just make sure you get all the ones that are unique to this particular game. And in the launch image, there's nothing in here you have to replace. And I think that is it. Yeah, the rest of these are just files. Let's see, what's this? Yeah, not to worry about that either. So anyway, that's what you would do, and then you would run another test on it and just make sure that everything's working well and that it's replacing the graphic files with the associated new ones. Make sure you do a clean first. So if you click on here and go to product, clean, it'll update everything based on the changes you did. Hopefully it still succeeds. If it doesn't, it's going to point you in the direction that you need to go to figure out what went wrong. But other than that, fairly simple, fairly straightforward. And in the next lesson, I'll go through how to replace the graphic files and give you that one too. So thanks for tuning in, and we will see you in the next lesson.